Hey everybody, I got a problem here where I have vertices are given to me and an asymptote is given to, or the equation of an asymptote is given to me, and I want to come up with what's the equation of the hyperbola. So what I encourage you to do is plot those vertices. That'll be the first thing. So -2, -6. Let's say that's -2, -6, and then 8, -6. So that'll be over here. All right, so those are vertices of this hyperbola. That tells me that this thing opens left and right and not up and down, because the vertices are going to be symmetric about the center. So these things are going to move, away like this, away like this. All right, and then the -6, that's the key point on both of them. That means our center is going to have a -6. And then we can average the x coordinates to get the x coordinate of the center. So -2 and 8, if I add those together, I'll get 6. And then divide that by 2, I'll get 3. So that's the coordinates of our center. Do you see it anywhere else? Yeah, right here. X minus 3, y plus 6. That also gives it away that I'm going to have these two as my numerators are just going to be squared when I make my hyperbola. All right, it's opening left and right. That means it's the x minus 3 term that's going to be squared. Y plus 6 is also going to be squared. That's going to be equal to 1. And now it's all about our denominators. The denominators, you can get that from these values right here. Remember, slope is the change in y divided by the change in x. So from our center, which fortunately is about right there where I've got that labeled, about right there, there's the 3 that's in the middle of these. From our center, what it's saying we do is we rise 6 and run 5. Because that was -6, rising 6 will put me here, and then running 5 will put me through that 8 right there. So I'm going to go right through that line like that. And then the same way in the other direction. But this is 6. This is 5. This is my denominator for these two things before they're squared. So this is x. That's going to be 5 squared. That's going to be 25. This is y. That's a 6. That's 6 squared. That's a 36. So I can get everything from that first equation, really. The y plus 6, the x minus 3. The only reason I wanted to plot the vertices was to see that this thing opens left and right, and that lets me know who's in front as far as the positive term and the negative term. So there's a minus sign in the middle always when we're doing a hyperbola. One of them's positive, one of them's negative. The vertices will move away from the center in the direction of the positive term. So there's the center, we're moving left and right. That means that x is the positive term. But I can get my denominator straight from that number that's in front of the x, x minus 3. And I can also get the shift. I can get the center, literally, from the shifting of the asymptotes. All right, let's clear this off so we can get our equation in there. Always, when I have all these parentheses and everything, I just do the fraction first. All right, then minus, same thing, fraction first. All right, and then that equals 1. Don't forget to put your squares up there. All right, not just... these aren't squared because that's the line, the asymptote. This is the hyperbola, so you do need to square these numbers when you get them down here. All right, then what's the graph? It's just kind of matching up what this all tells me. So when I'm looking at this, I can see that the center is 3, -6. The asymptotes go through the center. So the x that I'm seeing, this red x, the center of that x needs to be at 3, -6. So if you blow these up, we want it to go through the point 3, -6. So there's the x-axis. You can see that this is going the wrong way. That's a negative number instead of a positive number, so that's out. All right, there's the center here. This is at, right, each one of these tick marks is 2. I can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and then a little bit more to get to 13. So this is 2, 4, so this is 3, so that's got the x part right. And then going down, there's -16. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to get down there. So each one of those is 2. So -2, 4, 6 is where that one is. So that's -6, +3. That's our choice. That's our graph. So we just want to make sure that we are getting that center in the right spot and open. Again, it needs to open left and right, so it has to match up with that. But once we have the center in the right spot, once we have the graph opening in the right direction, left, right versus up, down, we've got our graph.